expansion.
In the first year, I became the number one national sales rep for the entire Mate Nicholas Group, Australia-wide. And for the ensuing next 4 years, I was untouchable.
Sure.
I got to travel the world first class on conferences. Took my then girlfriend, soon-to-be wife at that stage, around with me everywhere.
Sure.
We lived like little kings, you know.
Very nice.
And then that just moved on from there. I then broke into technology and went into work for NEC Corporation, and I very quickly enjoyed the lifestyle of the 80s. Lots of money floating around.
What a time to be alive.
That Wolf of Wall Street movie is true in every sense of what we did and what happened in the lifestyle. I had my little BMW. I had the first car phone when they first came out, mounted in the car. The prefix in those days was 007, which was awesome.
Yep.
Not 04, 08. It was 018 afterwards, but it was 007 and then whatever your number was.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That was the Australian prefix for mobile numbers. Well, not mobile, you know. And that car phone, if you had a car phone in the 80s, you were it.
Yeah.
There was, didn't matter what your car you put it in. You could have put it in a Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah.
You had a car phone.
Right?
And it would ring.
Yeah.
And you'd go,
yeah, that's right.
Who's there?
Yeah.
Dick Tracy calling Gomez, come in.
Yeah, right? I get you.
So it was like, hi. And you'd get people to ring you if you had a girlfriend, right? It's like,
of course.
Brother, you got to ring this.
Good impression. Nowadays, much of your trade is in hospitality. Are you still involved with technology?
Absolutely. I still own the oldest computer company in Australia.
Wow.
The oldest. Officially.
So is that manufacturing, assembling, serving?
It was all hardware integration in those days. It was all networks.
Yep.
It used to be my customer when I was at NEC. The company I bought and own today was my client.
What's the name of that company?
PCS Australia.
Interesting.
It used to stand for Photo Set Computer Services. And that company was owned by Kerry Packer, started by Sir Frank Packer.
All right, the old man.
And PCS Australia stood for Photo Set Computer Services. It did all the typesetting for the Packer Australian Consolidated Press magazines before desktop publishing came in, before any of that.
Sure.
And all the dark rooms were there and everything. And I worked with them and turned that company into NEC's largest computer dealership in Australia. And it was that for the next 23 years. In 1991, Kerry Packer wanted to divest of any company that was non-press related.
Sure.
And PCS Australia had become this huge IT company, and we were selling computers to every government department. I had won every contract in every government department of New South Wales, corrective services, police, Department of Health, you name it, planning, attorney generals. We owned it all. We owned it all. And there's photos of me in front of a jumbo jet with the nose cone open with 30,000 computers being delivered, personal computers.
Wow.
So and as I said, that was in that mid to late 80s. And in 91, he wanted to divest, and the then managers of PCS Australia wanted to buy that company and move it, or Kerry Packer was going to shut it down. That was the end of it. So the deal had to be done at arm's length to avoid any capital gains benefits at that stage, and to make the deal transparent and seamless. And I agreed to do it. I was then working for NEC still. It was a risky move by me.
Of course.
Because it invoked what's called a conflict of interest.
Yes, I'm sure.
They were my customer.
Yeah.
I was about to become a director and shareholder, so I needed to disclose it. I disclosed it to my manager at the time and said, hey, this is what I'm doing. If I don't do this, we are going to lose the biggest customer we have. The repercussions will be unbelievable.
Yeah.
We're talking in those days 20 million a year turnover.
Yeah, which is
huge in the IT sector in those days.
Nowadays it will be, 200?
Exactly, 10 times.
Yeah.
So I notified them, told them all about what was happening. I said, I don't want it to cost me my job. Here I am as a senior account manager within the number one computing company, not just in Australia, but in the world at that stage. And I did that. We went ahead, and the deal had to go through me. So I actually was in in the room with Kerry Packer, and we signed the purchase agreement. And I bought the company, and immediately upon buying the company, transferred shares to the other 6 existing managers, come directors of the company. So we became a team. And moved to William Street. We moved from Park Street. We were in Elizabeth, corner of Park and Elizabeth Street, and moved to William Street up at King's Cross. And that company today is still the oldest IT company in Australia.
Any sort of time spent with Kerry Packer, or not really? It was just a sign.
No, very little time. I've met him a few times. It's about all I could probably say.
Sure. Yeah. Just business.
Interesting gentleman. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting.
Very cold, calculated.
Yeah.
His way or the highway.
Yeah, definitely.
And that was the change in 91. By 1996, I was the only partner in that business. I bought out everybody.
So good times, successful times.
Good times.
Yep.
Good times.